Good morning, and thank you for being here. As you know, about 10 days ago, Miles Bridges signed a qualifying offer to return to play for the Charlotte Hornets. The decision to extend the qualifying offer took a lot of time to sort through, a lot of measured thought with ownership, people in the organization. At the end of the day, we relied on the process in Los Angeles, number one, right? The legal process had to play out. And back in November, the district attorney in Los Angeles and Miles pleaded, right, no contest to domestic abuse. And there was conditions. And it's my understanding since November, Miles has been complying with the conditions that the district attorney in Los Angeles laid out. Also, in the fall, the NBA conducted or began to conduct an investigation of what took place. And that process took many months. Once again, the NBA is very thorough. We were involved in the process. Obviously, we, got feedback from the NBA, but really didn't know what the NBA was going to decide until they decided, which was about the end of the season. And they decided to suspend Miles for 30 games, 20 games already served, 10 games suspension for the upcoming season. And also allowed him to continue with his career. So based on those two bodies and their investigation, our relationship with Miles, that goes back over 5 years. Talking to Miles this past year, whether it was ownership, myself, or our coach, knowing Miles as we know him, him showing remorse and accountability, and indicating to us that this would never happen again. And I believe Miles when he says that. As an organization, we made a decision to extend the qualifying offer about 3 weeks ago. And Miles signed that offer 2 weeks ago.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out here. First of all, I want to apologize to everybody for, the pain and embarrassment that I caused everyone, but especially my family. This year away, I've used it to prioritize just going to therapy and becoming the best person I can be, someone that my family and everybody here can be proud of. I want to thank the Hornets organization and the NBA for giving me a second chance. A lot of people don't get a second chance, and I want to use this second chance just to prove to everybody that I'm the same kid that you drafted 5 years ago. I'm just happy to be back, and I can't wait to get this year started.
We'll take questions.
Mitch, you mentioned the NBA's investigation. Did the Hornets conduct their own investigation during that time? And did you speak to the alleged victim or any local domestic abuse groups in Minneapolis?
Without going into great detail, we investigated to the best of our ability, with legal counsel and, gathering information that was available, to us. That's really all I'm prepared to say about that.
Miles, just why not speak about this incident, I guess, previously throughout the past year? Well, I guess why is now the time for you to talk about it and kind of move forward, I guess?
I just wanted to wait, to see how everything, went and played out. But I don't know. I feel like it's better late than never, to talk about it. So, I'm here now. And like I said, I'm just happy to be back, happy to be able to talk to you guys again. So, yeah.
You mentioned this past year. What has it been like to not be able to play basketball, have to be able to twist and win a little bit as you kind of figure out your future?
It's been tough for me, not playing basketball, but it also has given me a chance, to, like I said, become a better person off the court. And that's my main focus, just becoming somebody that my family and the Hornets organization can be proud of and can trust again.
Miles, Scott Fowler from the Charlotte Observer. You mentioned therapy. What have you learned about yourself in therapy that makes you confident that you won't take these sorts of actions again?
I won't go into great detail about, therapy, but, it's just a step for me to get better every day, becoming a better person every day, someone that my kids could look up to, someone that my family could be proud of. And it's just patience for me,
I wonder if I could ask one basketball question too. How far behind does a year away put you, do you think?
I couldn't tell you because I haven't played yet, but I have great confidence, in myself and my abilities. I've been getting better off the court, but I've also been getting better on the court and, refining my game. So, like I said, I can't wait to come back and show that I've improved.
Miles, Kyle Bailey, WFNZ. You're not the first athlete to be in a situation like this, and I'm curious. Throughout history, a lot of athletes have chosen to maybe throw themselves into advocacy. Maybe in your case, domestic violence, things like that. Is that something you've given any thought to? You talk about your off-the-court work and therapy and things like that. Is that something else you think you might commit to?
For me, I just want to, stick to, like I said, just stick to therapy and just focusing on myself and focusing on becoming a better person, focusing on my family. That's all I'm really worried about in basketball.
Steve Reefman, Associated Press. Mitch and Miles. First, Mitch, when we were weighing this decision, did you have any concerns about how the fan base might react to bringing Miles back after this incident? And Miles, do you have any concerns with how fans may treat you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's, a polarizing topic, and I understand, how everybody may not agree. And, it's a tough situation to be in. But as I mentioned, we started out with, the legal process in Los Angeles, right? Worked through the legal process, worked through the NBA's investigation, relationship with Miles, conversations with Miles, remorse, accountability. And it's the best we can do. But yes, I do understand that everybody may not agree.
Yes, I understand that. People think I don't deserve a second chance, and I understand that. So that's why I'm trying to use this year to prove to everybody just who the person that I am, like who is Miles Bridges, and it's not what people think he is.
Mitch, with Miles' qualifying offer now being signed, you guys not have control over him after this season. You can kind of leave. Just wondering, from your perspective, obviously it's part of the business, but just what does that do for you guys as you try to figure out how this thing can fit long term?
Yeah, just so I understand, Miles signed a qualifying offer, right? So that means he's under contract for this upcoming season. Upon the conclusion of the season, he will become an unrestricted free agent, and we will have bird rights. Okay, so in the NBA with bird rights, that gives you the ability to it gives you an advantage when signing free agents. Beyond that, we'll have to just wait and see, right? How the season plays out. From a basketball point of view, putting aside the serious nature, of what took place, we are excited to get him back. He had his best year ever, 2 years ago. So we are excited to get him back. And, you know, whatever it is to deal with a year from now, we'll deal with it a year from now.
Well, Balaji, a couple of other things. Miles, you've spoken a lot about getting a second chance and variations of that, but what specifically do you feel like you've learned in terms of why you feel like you deserve a second chance, and how do you feel like you are going to pay that back, not only to the organization, but also to the fan base?
You know, just me, like I said before, just me becoming a better person and showing that to people, showing, you know, how who I really am. You know, I would like to do a lot of not community service, but just volunteering. You know, be around the community more, and yeah, basically just being around the community more and helping out a lot more.
Mitch, you said something in the pre-draft process about wanting to make sure that there were more leaders in the locker room, and you said that going into free agency. What steps for the rest of this offseason are you going to take to make sure that the leadership and things around the locker room are satisfactory the way you feel like this group is going to be in going into the season?
Well, it starts with me, okay, and then, you know, it goes to our head coach, you know, who will be the leader in the locker room. You know, we do have veteran players on our team. Of course, Miles will be back, and, you know, he understands that, you know, even though his teammates are happy to have him back, there's a lot of trust, you know, that needs to be earned back. So maybe, you know, at some level during the season, you know, Miles, you know, can provide some leadership. But we have Gordon Hayward, we have Terry Rozier, and believe it or not, Melo is now in his 4th year, right? So, but the leadership would begin with me, and then it would go to our coach. It's always good to have a strong locker room, you know, so we always look to make it stronger, but we feel we're in a good spot right now.
Miles, I wonder, I'm sure you didn't get into a ton of details, but I wonder how you explain the past year to your kids.
Yeah, I don't want to get into details, you know, just to protect their privacy, you know, but I have a great relationship with my kids.
And I wonder also if you could explain publicly why you did plead no contest as opposed to fight the charge.
Yeah, I can't really get into that, you know, past court documentations. But like I said, you know, I've been spending a lot of time in therapy to come, you know, better as an individual, and I'm going to continue to keep going there and getting better.
Miles, Hunter Bailey with the Charlotte Post. Obviously, the roster is a lot different than it was in Atlanta for the playing game a couple seasons ago. How do you feel like you fit into the team now?
I feel like I can still fit in. You know, I watched a lot of games last year, and I feel like we've gotten better. You know, like we had a worse record, but at the same time, with the players that we have now, I feel like we've gotten better defensively. That's been a big thing for us. You know, in all my years with the Hornets, we always haven't been that good defensively, but I see last year that we took a step in that direction. So, you know, I feel like once everybody's back and we're healthy, you know, we could be a playoff team.
Miles, throughout this entire process, we've seen you working out in Charlotte. We've seen your teammates kind of speak about you here and there. Throughout this entire ordeal, did you always feel like, hey, I mean, I've had a chance of coming back with Charlotte, this is where I'm going to end up, or did you ever feel like I could end somewhere else, or this is the end of my career?
No, I really just controlled what I could control. You know, I didn't know what was going to happen. You know, once again, I would like to thank the Hornets organization for giving me a second chance, you know, because they didn't have to. You know, I want to be in Charlotte. This is where I got drafted, and this is where I grew into a man. So, like I say, I would love to be here.
I was over here on the right. Mike Solarpi, Spectrum News. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
You talked about getting a second chance. Mitch just talked about there's going to have to be some trust there with you and your teammates. How do you start building back that trust with those that you played with, the guys that you haven't played with,
Just being a leader in the locker room again, leading by example, and just doing the right thing. Like I said, I will be around the community a lot, not because I have to, because I want to. Being away for a year made me realize that I wasn't in the community like I should be. I have a name, I have, people know me, and kids look up to me. So just for me to be around, I feel like it'll be big for them.
Hey, Miles, last time we saw you play, you were playing for James Borrego. Obviously, Steve Clifford returned last year. I know that what happened predated his return and you guys getting started. What is your relationship like with Steve Clifford? Have you heard much from him, and what advice, if any, has he given you along the way?
Yeah, I've talked to Coach Cliff. We've been building our relationship, and I'm excited to play for him. He's a great coach. He's been in the game a long time, so I'm excited to learn from him and to continue grow our relationship.
Mitch, I wonder if you mentioned earlier in your opening statement about ownership being involved in this decision. So when you say that, are we talking about the new owners, Michael? I know this kind of was an umbrella over both of those reigns, so how did that work?
Yeah, both. Yes, Michael and Rick Schnall and Gabe Plotkin were all involved. More recently, than several months ago, but certainly in this decision.
And everyone was unanimous that this is what you should do?
Yes.
Miles, how do you plan to approach what you have to deal with here? Obviously, you have to, I guess, work out from the summer, and then you have to take a suspension. How do you plan on trying to come back after 10 games and still be the player that you really can be?
Just staying in the gym. I still have a feel for the game, and I'm the same player, even better than I was before. But just staying in the gym, being here consistently is going to help me out. Being around my teammates, learning their games. I think that's going to be big for me. With this 10-game suspension, I could also see what we need to work on during those 10 games and see what I could do to come in and help. So yeah, just me getting to know my teammates.
Mitch, this is for you. In addition to remorse and accountability, which you mentioned, what from your relationship with Miles previously gave you the confidence, the organization the confidence to take this step?
Well, it was a combination, of everything I talked about, right? The process in Los Angeles, the NBA's investigation. A part of it was also, knowing somebody for 5 years, having a relationship, and there was some trust there, and there's still trust. The conversations, that we've had over the past year, sit-down conversations in person, conversations on the phone, and, you have to make a judgment, right? Is this sincere remorse? Is this sincere accountability? It's not something that, is easy to judge, right? You have to make a judgment. And we took all those factors into consideration, and we decided ultimately to give him a second chance.
Anything else? All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.